Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will virtually address the Israeli parliament in a short while from now. Preparations have begun to hold a virtual address in the Knesset. A special situation room has been set up in Parliament as parts of the building are currently under renovations. Zelensky's address comes at a time when the Knesset is in recess, because of which many lawmakers are traveling overseas. And as per Israeli media reports, special arrangements have been made for the lawmakers to attend the address via a video link. Until now, Israel has played a neutral role in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It has refrained from imposing any sanctions on Russia, but has reluctantly condemned Moscow's aggression. Earlier this month, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett visited Russia with his delegation, during which he offered to play peacemaker between the two countries at war. Zelensky had previously asked for a more formal virtual address in the Knesset, a request which was denied by Israel, citing the reason that such session cannot be held when the parliament is in recess. Israeli reports say that the Russian envoy to the country also requested to brief the parliament ahead of Zelensky's address. This was to present the Russian perspective. The briefing, however, did not come through. Experts say that Israel is being cautious of being seen as supporting one side in the conflict. It has close ties with both Moscow and Kiev. A large number of Jews live in Russia and Ukraine, which makes choosing a side all the more tricky for Israel. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky himself is Jewish. More than that, Russia has its troops in Syria. Moscow controls the skies in Syria, and because of this, Israel is reliant on coordination with Russia to carry out military strikes in Syria against Iranian proxies there. So siding with one party has regional implications for Israel as well. Our WION correspondent Jody Cohen is joining us live now on this broadcast from Tel Aviv. Good evening to you, Jody. Thanks for being with us. Now, we have seen President Zelensky address various nations with emotionally fraught speeches that made reference to difficult historical situations in their respective countries. What are we expecting from Zelensky's address to the Knesset in a short while from now?
Yes, Alison. So if we have a look at what President Zelensky has said when he's addressed other parliaments, it really gives us an indication of what he's likely to talk about tonight to the Israelis. For example, when he talked to the US Congress, he invoked the biggest moments in their history. He talked about 9/11. Likewise, when he spoke to the German parliament, he talked about the fall of the Berlin Wall. And he's likely to talk about the biggest moments that have affected Israelis as well. And that, of course, would be the Holocaust. We've already heard that he's likely to invoke the fact that he is Jewish himself. And he's likely to compare Ukraine's battle against Russia with the Allies' battle against the Nazis. So really evoking strong emotions, big historic occasions in his speech. We're also we can expect that he might use some sort of emotive film, which he's done in other addresses as well. He's really appealing not only to Israeli lawmakers, but also to members of the public. I'm standing in Habima Square in Tel Aviv, where thousands of people have gathered to watch the live stream. Parliamentarians are going to be watching from the Knesset. You can hear the chanting behind me as people prepare for the welcome addresses and to see President Zelensky speak. The speech is also going to be live streamed on television, so as many people as possible can hear his message.
Right. And Jody, what can you tell us about the likely reaction of the Israeli government to Zelensky's speech, considering Israel wanting to play the role of peacemaker and also their relations with both Moscow and Kiev?
So there's been pressure within the government for the Israeli government to do more. They're doing a lot on the humanitarian front. I think we can see also, if you look at the addresses to other parliaments around the world, that has typically led to an announcement by the government of some more support for Ukraine. So we've already heard that Israel is reported reportedly going to be opening a field hospital in Ukraine on Tuesday, and that on Monday, Israeli doctors and nurses will be traveling from Israel to Ukraine to man that hospital. But Israel will also be mindful of its relations with Russia, not only, as you said, because of the mediation role it's been playing, but also because Russia is in control of the skies in Syria, and Israel is very concerned about Iranian activities in Syria, which it sees as an existential threat.
Right. Jody, thank you very much. We'll leave it there for now. Jody Cohen bringing us all the latest on that upcoming virtual address.
We are now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.